Hey PSR agents, how you guys doing again? This is Andy. Today we're going to be talking about writing up leases. One of the most important things when it comes to fielding the calls in the last video and taking them out, and now they like it. What do you do? What's the next step? Well, we're going to briefly talk about exactly what we're going to do with that. Now, first of all, I wanted to go back to this particular listing 1439081, the one we had talked about previously, is when you go out with a client, of course you're going to have the full version of the MLS sheet. It's going to tell you whose listing it is and all of the information. Now when you come back to the office with your client, we have our website. If you're not familiar with it, on the bottom of every page there's a small link here at the bottom. It says PSR agent login, and if you don't know, for right now the login is 0120. Since I've been in here already, it did ask me for a password. This is where all of our forms are. So we're going to click on forms. We're going to have the MLS open. We're going to have our forms open, and we're going to go line by line here. So we're going to go down here to rental forms, and I tried to make it as easy as possible when it comes to going down the list. So let's start off with some of the required forms that we're going to need. One of them is going to be the rental process, the trust deposit form, the sales control sheet. The showing agreement is something that I would recommend you guys having in your car, that you would have them sign just to secure if they do rent it or buy it, that you would get paid. The contractor enter into a lease. I do like this one instead of the new one, and I'll explain that in a few minutes. The tenant information sheet, the transaction broker, and it looks like we have two trust account deposit forms. So we're going to click on this. Now what I'm doing is I'm holding down the control button and clicking it, and if you're noticing, it's opening up more tabs. So I can go from one to the other without having to hit the back button. Okay, and also below that is listing forms if you're going to be taking a listing, and our lease forms, and I'll walk through. So once we get this done, so the first thing we want to do is, I had just came up with this not too long ago, because we sometimes lack or people are embarrassed about saying I have a criminal history or my credit's bad. So this right here is an inside form for our office, and it again is to help you. It's just a bullet point of some things on if they've never rented before, some of the things that may occur. Again, be honest when telling your agent about your credit and criminal, so we don't waste our time. And there are some communities that accept, some that don't. As you continue to get seasoned, you'll know what those places are. We need a credit report. We're able to do it for $100, credit and criminal. Be prepared if you have animals that they may want a $300 non-refundable pet deposit. We also need a 1 month's rent. We have our own escrow account, so they need to make a 1 month's rent made payable to Power South Realty escrow. A lot of times they ask for first, last, and security. Depending on your credit, we can negotiate maybe first and security. Again, most applications are $100 if it is a community, a townhouse, homeowners association. And the day of the closing, there'll be a walkthrough. Take pictures and notes, and all monies are due at the walkthrough. So when they give us our first month's rent, if it's last in security, they need, if it's $1,000, they need an additional $2,000 check at the time of walkthrough. And of course, one of the things that I like to do is optional, is if there's pets or a picture of the family. A lot of times it helps me get the lease signed with a nice family photo. I'm saying, hey, here are the people that you're renting to. School teacher, great family. Here's, little Chihuahua dog, and it makes things go a little bit smoother. So that's the number one form. It's again to help you kind of give them the idea of what is going to be required of them, so there's no surprises. Oh, you didn't tell me I needed 1 month's rent, or I needed a check to make a deposit, or I didn't know that you needed a credit report. So this is all disclosed to them. Okay, the second thing is here, and again, this is the correct one. One deposit to Power South Realty Escrow. This is when you collect the check, you put the tenant's last name, the landlord's last name, the property address, initial deposit, as if it's a cash or check, the amount, the date, the listing office. In this case, the listing office is Beachfront Realty. Listing associate, selling office is Power South Realty. Your name goes there, and then you give the check to me. I'll sign it, and we'll put that in the file. Okay, this goes on the front of the folder. This is for you to fill out all of this information. Obviously, sellers are going to be the owners, and the buyers are going to be the tenants. Selling information, selling agent, listing agent, title company, of course there's not going to be one, or mortgage. But on the bottom here, I want to make sure that this is here to help you out. So the rental checklist, and again, transaction broker, contractor intro, copy of deposit, original lease, tenant info sheet, lead-based paint if it's optional, rental process form, MLS printout, county records. And again, your closing checklist for rentals. And for a successful closing is for you to help you guys out. So make sure you print that out and fill it out before you turn it in. Now here's the contract to enter into a lease. And again, I don't like the new one. I like the old one. Why? I just wanted to point out a couple things. One of them is you're able to put in there, if I can find it here in the back, the professional fee, if it's 10% or whatever it is. And then here, if tenant continues to occupy or renewing, I always put in there 10%. So this is something that you would remind yourself in 8 months, 9 months down the road and say, hey, listen, are you guys planning on renewing the lease? Now you can go back to the listing agent and say, hey, by the way, we signed and both of us we still get paid if they renew the lease. Wow, really? A lot of times the real estate agent will cross it off and there's going to be no renewal, but I still try it anyway. So make sure you guys put 10%. I always put 180 days and 6%. And what that means is that during the tenant's occupancy and thereafter, 100 days after the tenant leaves, if they happen to buy the property, you're getting paid, and the other broker will get paid 6%, 3% each. And just in case you brought the tenant to the landlord decides to sell it, well, you're getting paid. So make sure you fill it out just like that. Again, if it's 10% or 1 month's rent, put in there, $1,200. But I want to start at the top here. All right, now this is a fill-in-the-blank form. So we got landlord, tenant information. Now I wanted to show you a real quick thing. Now this is the listing that we were going to use. We're going to hit the tax, and of course we need to print it with no tax available. Bad example. Let's see here. They don't have a folio number, so let's do this. The address is 3856 90th Ave. So let's go to tax records, where Broward County equals 3859 90th. And let's see what we got here. No records. Well, this is a very poor example. This is when you would call the listing agent and find out who the name of the owner is, etc. But in the meantime, we do need to find a tax record. So let's do this between 38 and 4800, and let's see if we can find a tax record. We have 633. Let's hit details. Here's the tax